Hi guys, so by the title, you already know this is a red carpet look. This is my good girlfriend, Asia, and she works for Teen Vogue, and she's going to be doing press at the Met Gala. So my girl booked me to do her makeup, and I decided it would be great to film. So I'm just cleaning her face off with some Thayer's Witch Hazel. This is the cucumber one. As you can see, she has pretty much perfect and flawless skin. She was just out all day. She had to get her hair done, so I'm just removing any dirt and grime that may be on her skin. So I'm gonna start with the brows. For red carpet, it's really all subjective. You don't have to fill in the brows. You definitely don't want Instagram brows. Her brows are like really nicely groomed. I could have just put some concealer around them to define the shape, but since I know her, I know she wanted a more defined look. So I'm just gonna lightly fill her eyebrow in. This is not the Absolute brow pencil. This is a brown eyebrow pencil, you guys. I got a lot of questions on my last tutorial, and I just started commenting saying the Absolute brow pencil, but I'm working on my own brow pencil. That's why I wasn't answering y'all, but y'all can still use the Absolute brow pencil. That's my favorite brow pencil. This is just a light brown color. It's not light brown, it's just like brown, because I didn't want her brows to be too dark. And I'm just filling her brows. I'm not making her brows thick at all. I'm keeping them the same shape that they are. And you guys, we started this, she literally sat down at 3:24 and call time was 4:30. So we were very pressed for time. So yeah. So as you can see, when I filled in her brows, I didn't go all the way up to the top. I want her brows to be defined, but not too defined. I really just wanted it to be like a effortless, natural brow. Now I'm going in with the NARS Creamy Matte Concealer, and I'm using the shade Caramel. And I'm going to take my Morphe brush in 224 to etch out her brows. Morphe has a new 224 brush. It doesn't look like this anymore. So yeah, if you do go out and grab the Morphe 224 brush, it won't look like mine, because mine is an older style of it. Then I'm taking this Juviasplace Fluffy eyeshadow brush. I don't know if it's an eyeshadow brush or a concealer brush, but that's what I'm using. I use it to blend concealer out. And you guys might ask me why I'm using the NARS Creamy Matte instead of my usual matte concealers. I usually use the NARS Creamy Matte on my brides because it just gives off a softer finish underneath the brows. If you have my online courses, you know I use the Creamy Matte on a regular. It's in my kit, so I use these concealers often. Using very little product.
Ooh, look at that brow. That is a brow, honey. A brow, honey. Yes.
So I'm going to leave the top of her brows untouched for now, and I'm going to go in with my secret weapon. This is the Mehron Skin Prep. I have not moisturized her skin. I'm not going to moisturize her skin. I'm going to use this Mehron Skin Prep, which is a toner, essentially. It's like a makeup toner that leaves a barrier on the skin, so no oils, no sweat comes through. It's used for stage makeup. Yeah, this is essential. So now once that dries, I'm going to go in with the foundation. I'm mixing two shades from NARS. I'm mixing MACAO and New Caledonia, and I use like a pump and a half from both, and I'm just gonna like spread that on her skin. I'm spraying the Caudalie spray, and I'm just going to spread that foundation on. She does not need a full coverage at all. She barely needs a medium coverage. This is the least amount of makeup you will probably ever see me use on my channel. This is a light to medium, barely medium coverage. So I'm taking the foundation directly on the skin and just smoothing it out. I'm not letting it sit on her skin. I'm just blending it out and in. But I want to go back and talk about the technique that I'm using with the Mehron toner. You can use a moisturizer beneath it, but be careful because sometimes if you put a product on the skin first before the toner, it will cause the product to roll. This is really a celebrity trick from a celebrity makeup artist to not use a moisturizer on the skin if you know your client is going to be under stage lights or on the red carpet, because eventually the moisturizer will cause the makeup to lift. It doesn't matter how good the moisturizer is, and you want to make sure that your high profile or celebrity client has the most long lasting makeup. You want to make it as long lasting and flawless as possible, even when they're under stress and under lighting. And what you can do, you can use a primer, just a primer alone, which is really great depending on the primer. Or I really just love to use this Mehron toner. It works really, really amazingly. Yeah, so if y'all ever want to know, like, not if y'all ever want to know, but you see how Beyonce, when she performs on stage and she takes her towel and pats her face, or she just is performing and dancing and like her makeup is moving, her makeup artist doesn't put moisturizer on her face. So that's just a little bit of tea. Going in with this Kevyn Aucoin liquid concealer. I'm going to be using this as the base for her bronzer. Now this is a new product that I picked up from Sephora, but I knew it would work perfectly for what I wanted to use it for, so it was no big deal to me. When you're doing looks like this, you want to make sure you're layering either a cream or liquid, and then you're going to set it with a powder for every single step. So this is going to be my bronzer, and I'm just pressing that into the skin. This is the same brush I use for the foundation. It's just a clean one, and I'm also going to use a sponge around her hairline. You want to be careful about the hairline, whether it's their real hair or a wig, a frontal, whatever the case may be. You don't want to get makeup in their frontal, please. So use a sponge or a smaller brush. So now I'm going in with this Kevyn Aucoin Skin Enhance. This is my first time using this product, and I don't recommend doing that, using a new product. But I decided to use it because I picked it up that day. I was shopping for me actually, but I picked it up that day because I liked how yellow it was, and I knew it would look really nice on her skin. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna try this out. It's very, very creamy, so I decided, based on what I know about textures, that I was going to let it sit on the skin before going out and blending it away. And then I'm using a more pink toned concealer on the perimeter of that yellow concealer, so it's not that much of a contrast between the concealer and her skin. And I'm also going to use that concealer to carve out the top of her eyebrows. This step, I would have usually used my NARS Cream Matte concealer, I would have normally used that, but I decided to try this Kevin Aquan because I like the yellowness of it. So now I'm taking my beauty blender, and this is the Shop Miss A beauty blender, you guys, and I'm just gonna press that product into her skin, and you're gonna see how nicely it just blends and melts into her skin, and it's also gonna brighten up her forehead area very nicely. So now I'm going in. I just sprayed the Caudalie Beauty Elixir on her skin, and now I'm going in with my Real Technique setting brush, and I'm going to begin blending that concealer in, and I'm going to take that concealer onto her eyelid as well. Because this concealer is really creamy, it's going to take a little bit longer than usual to blend it out. But you can see how immediately it really brightened up her under eye area.
Work. You look cute. Thank you. Oh my god. I'm really excited now. Like, I was really like.
I'm also going to take my sponge one last time and just go over the area underneath her eye to make sure that it's blended in. I'm going to pick up any extra product also with the sponge. Now I'm going to go in with my Luscious by Lynn setting powder in the shade Butternut Beige. You guys know I absolutely love these powders. They're very versatile. You can use them for literally every single look. And I'm going to use them to set the under eye. Very lightly press that powder underneath her eyes. I don't want her eyes to have necessarily like a matte and set look. For the most part, I want her whole face to appear soft and a bit dewy. So I'm not going to use too much powder. I'm just going in layers, making sure that concealer is set. Because remember, the concealer is on the very creamy side, so you do want to make sure you use enough powder to set it so that it doesn't move, but you don't want to overuse powder. So it's always best to go in layers, add as you go instead of adding an abundance of product and then you can't take it off. And then I'm also taking that and setting in between her eyebrows and her eyebrows as well. Now I'm taking the Black Opal foundation stick in Black Walnut, and I'm going to use that to contour her underneath where we put that bronzer shade. And you see how I just use one little strip. So you guys, you don't have to use a lot of cream contour product to get a contour. Now I'm going back in with my powder, and I'm using a beauty blender to lightly tap some underneath the eye. I decided I wanted it to bake a little bit more, because I did want the under eyes to be bright.
Where is Claire? Look down for me.
Now I'm going in with this Fenty bronzer. I think this one is the Bahama Mama. I don't even know, but you know, it's going to be listed down below. I'm going in with this Fenty bronzer to bronze her cheeks. And I'm tapping that bronzer on the skin because I want to set that concealer. If you go in and you kind of try to swipe like towards her ear, you might move the liquid or cream product that you had underneath. So tap it on first to set it, and then you can begin to do your swiping motions. I'm also going to bronze her forehead. I live for a bronzed forehead. It just looks so good on everybody. And I'm going to use that same color to contour her nose. I'm just taking an eyeshadow brush and I'm going to bring that color up into her eyebrows as well. I'm more so defining the shape of her nose and not really contouring, because the goal isn't to make her nose appear smaller. I just really want to define the shape of her nose. And then I'm going to blend that out with the brush I used for my foundation. Going with some blush. I'm mixing NARS Orgasm with this Becca brush with this Becca blush, so I'll have them both listed down below. And I'm just adding a little bit more bronzer to her jawline and to her neck.
Woo! Look at that skin! I mean, damn!
Now I'm taking that foundation brush that I used and I'm going to press the powder into her skin. Look how beautiful and glowy she looks. Yes, Asia. Alright, so now I'm taking the Fenty bronzer again, and I'm going to use this to contour her eye shape. I'm just putting it, you see how she has very big eyes. I just wanted to define the shape of her eyes a little bit. And now I'm just taking a fluffy brush and I'm going to use MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Deep Dark, I believe. It's like a yellow brown. And I'm just using that to set her eyelids. Now I'm going in with Inglot number 77 gel eyeliner, and I'm going to wing her liner and smoke it out. I wanted to zoom in really close. I was like, this is an actual client, right? So, and we were pressed for time. So I wasn't really focused on positioning my body for you guys to see, even though I want you guys to see, but I did kind of get in the way because I couldn't mess up, y'all. Like, no. So I lined her eyes first, and I'm just using an angled eyeliner brush. And this brush is one of those brushes that comes in like a Beige cosmetic kit. So it doesn't have like a number or anything. It's a pretty standard eyeliner angled brush, and I just winged it out. So now I'm going to take this brush. This is a Juviasplace brush, and I'm going to start pulling that cream liner upwards because I want it to be soft and smoked out. So I'm going to do that all along. I don't have the right brush for this. I thought I bought it, but I didn't. So now I'm setting that with a black eyeshadow, and then I'm going to pull it up and smoke it out with a reddish brown color. And now I'm just cleaning up any extra product with the brush I used to blend out the concealer. And I'm gonna repeat the steps on the other side. Now I'm in her waterline with the same eyeliner. She has very big round eyes. She has actually very beautiful brown eyes. So this is gonna make her brown eyes pop. Like this really makes the look with the perfect pair of lash. So these are my lashes. This is in the style Paris. And we smoked out the bottom lash line as well.
The lady who did my eyebrows, I like the way she did it. However, it's a, how do you say?
Wow, Sam. Kiki. Is that me?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, she's cute.
It's a, you should
Cute. She's cute. This is like a look.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, these the effect the lashes did. I'm disgusted. Beauty. Wow. This is phenomenal.
So yeah, like I said, I didn't bring my right freaking brush, so I had to work with what I had and just use it to smoke out her bottom lash line. I used the black shadow and then I used the same brown shadow on top. To get my girl out, she was going across town, so I added this red lip, which is from Juviasplace. It's the best red lipstick. Like, I love this red lipstick. It's so freaking good. So now I'm just adding some highlighter. Of course, I'm using Glow Sis as the highlight, and I'm literally really using very little. She's putting some Fenty Body Lava on, and this look has really, you know, it's come together, y'all. I'm using the Ben 9 Final Seal Spray. And this brush has some powder on it. I'm using the powder to set all over her face. But yeah, this is pretty much it. I'm just spraying some hairspray in her ponytail, but I took you guys to work with me today, honey. And I only have my ring light in the window behind me, so I didn't have my studio light, so the lighting isn't that well, but this look really came together. And this is what she looked like dressed. She's literally at the door, like she has to go, but this is the completed look. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.